So is there something on your heart that you like need to release to the universe? Please use this space to do so. It can be relevant, it can be timeless. It's up to you.
Especially your pizza delivery guy. They definitely expect tips. From every movie you've watched, your pizza guy expects a tip.
We haven't watched Canadian.
From any movie, not Canadian. Yeah.
My view, as I wrap it with a bow, my final contribution towards that is, divorce is a clear indication that unconditional love doesn't exist.
Ross is a man with 3 divorces, right? Right? Divorce number friend songs. So like divorce number 1 is because his wife at the time, Carol was gay, and like obviously
who's this guy?
Pop culture references. Do you know they have not clicked to any of
have you guys not watched Friends?
Because you're the only one who get this reference. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
You know that's the second time you said that.
They're not gonna get it.
Do you think we won't get it?
Do you get it?
Where is it from?
I don't know. I'm just pointing out how the characters of a feminist.
Okay. Wow. Generalizing much.
Guys,
Kish is limited edition.
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay, same thing for the woman, right? Like the woman also not only has to like be this demure goddess, she also has to be this sex kitty with a nice punani, right?
What's up? This is the NairoBEERns podcast. It's your boy Kish, na kama kawa na chill na boys wangu Mwas.
Mimi hapa hivi.
And today we have lovely ladies. Wame to join kwa pod leo. I think intro
lisonye. Kwanza na wewe kwa karibu na wewe hapo.
Sawa.
Hey, what it do? I'm Anna. Friend of the boys. The person behind the scenes a lot of the times. Making noises.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay. Hi, my name is Aileen. I am also friends of the boys. And this is my first time here. I'm just finding out that these couches are not the color that you think they are. And I feel deeply
Put in the comment section what color you think these couches are.
They know.
They don't know.
They know. Because it's clear.
They know. Yeah, so it's another week. Tumepatana hapa hivi Kish. Yeah, with our friends, of course.
Yep.
NairoBEERns podcast usemanga assume tuongea kwa sababu tumeona, vile tumesikia, vile tumesoma na vile tumetubamba. So before tuingie kwa hiyo kwanza, what we'd like to do over here is we like to catch up.
Okay.
Like so could you tell us, if you don't mind, how your week was? Just an overview of how your week was.
My week was okay. I really enjoyed the public holiday. Thank you, President Ruto. I watched Hercules. I watched Avengers Endgame. Yeah, really can't complain, I think. Yeah. How was your week, Annalise?
Exactly the same. We looked forward to Tuesday.
That's it.
For 2 reasons. To watch our president be sworn in. And then also for the next day preparation of the week ahead. And it was good. Chilled. Watched a lot of shows like Alien. I'll recommend Snowfall. That was my week. That's it.
That's nice. Me yangu imekuwa poa. Kama kawa ni kuchill tu.
Yes.
Wera na hustle hapa na pale.
Yeah.
But I think hakuna highlight naweza report.
Yeah, this week has just been underwhelming. And you?
Yangu ilikuwa fiti sana. Finally nilifanya kitu fulani nataka kufanya for a long time.
Hey, congrats.
Thank you. Sitasema sahi but kitu ilikuwa ina kidogo. But naweza kuifanya, so at least akon ka hurdle kadogo nimeweza kuruka. Na look forward kwa wiki inaingia sahi nione ndachieve nini.
True.
Yeah. So tukiingilia conversation leo.
So is there something on your heart that you like need to release to the universe? Please use this space to do so. It can be relevant, it can be timeless. It's up to you.
I guess I'll start by my fellow Kenyans.
Okay.
Kenyans they've irritated me.
How?
Since we got a new president, yeah? Because, there's this whole 7 million people who voted one way, then there's like 6.9 million who voted the other way, right? Now, the 6 million people, a bulk of them are okay. But there's a small subset that are, I think, gunning for the presidency to fall or fail. And for every little misstep that this administration is making, or whatever it seems to be making, they are rejoicing. So you want the government to fail so that you can prove a point to everyone else that you guys chose wrongly or whatever, this guy is not the best person for the job. I'm like, guys, these guys have been in office for a week, and we are going to have them for the next 5 years, like it or not. They're with us for 5 years. Why not gun for them to win? Then after 5 years, vote them out. I mean, that's also an option. Because if they fail, your investments, whatever you've invested, that money dwindles, your property dwindles, you can lose your job. I mean, there are so many negatives that can come from this government failing than positive. Because if they fail, okay, let's say within the first 2 years, this government fails, you still have to keep them for 3 years. I mean,
if they fail, we all fail.
We all fail, but then we should want them to win, and then after 5 years, whether they win or not, because they're not our preferred or whatever for the 6 million, vote them out. There's always that chance after 5 years. So for the small group of Kenyans who are rejoicing when there's like a small thing happening, or they want things to go wrong, so that they can have that aha moment, like, guys, we told you, you see what you did. For that small group of people, you guys are okay. You guys are idiots.
Can I try and explain? And me not being one of them.
Okay.
Can I just give you the other side?
Yes.
Maybe you can cut them some slack. Because I feel these people are still grieving, and they are in the process of accepting that we lost. And this is how things are gonna be. So just spare them like a week or a month for them to grieve, because
it hasn't been 100 days.
I mean, I would cut them some slack if they were children, but they are grown adults. For me, if you're over the age of 18, the government and society have given you responsibility. You can vote, you can have a family, you can think, right? And if at that age you still need time to adjust, my guy, we voted on the 9th, got results a week later. So in that time you had time to adjust. The Supreme Court, during that time you start accepting.
No. Okay, but like I also think you're minimizing what people have just lost. It's not that somebody has like lost, right? It's also that person, this was the last time he was running.
My thing is,
that's a
with
big
Baba,
deal.
that was the
If
thing.
it's
It was the last time.
and it was the last time.
Come on, no, it's the last time you saw him.
It was the last time.
He's older than the United
They were
Nations.
all that thought, this is it. We're going to see Baba. People rallied around, this is Baba's. Give it to him. Like, that was heartbreaking. Like, even there's a picture he posted of him, man, it was a sad looking photo. Like, you saw it was in black and white, you know, the bit like, it looked like Nat Geo's photo of something.
to support Baba, you're supposed to be used to this. It's nothing. No, what I'm saying is,
This is the fifth time.
No, but he's not coming back. He's not coming back.
Irregardless, let's say it was someone else.
Come on, people.
But there's something, because let's say it wasn't in Kenya. Let's say it's another country. 2 weeks is not enough for people who really rallied around someone and the ideas for change, and people who desperately wanted the change that person was going to bring. 2 weeks is not enough to start to wonder whether that change will come. Especially when in your first 100 days you don't see maybe what you hope for to come. You're allowed to hear people complain. They'll come to terms with things maybe later, but knowing that you went in line, you did everything, and really hoping for a change that meant something to your life. Where if you lost that, you can't tell someone 2 weeks, get over it. No, that's someone who's now going to think someone else is in power and they might not serve my interests, and now how can I save myself?
I'm a mean person. I'm a mean person.
That was such a compassionate, well-delivered response. It moved my soul, and you were not moved.
Not at all, man. I go back to the argument of, you are an adult. You need to adjust quick. You deal with adversity like that. But a curveball is thrown, okay, let me adjust, let me move. Like you said, enough time hasn't passed for them to because let's say most governments promise 100 days, my first 100 days. So why not give this administration 100 days, then start bitching? I'm like, after that point, I'm like, okay, yes, they promised in the first 100 days they'll do this and this and this. They've only done this, not that. Let's complain, but it's only been what, 2 weeks, a week maybe.
True, but I think they have no option of giving the government 100 days. They'll have to give the government 100 days.
Do
but
that.
You just let them mourn however they want to grieve.
But I was talking to my good friend here, Kish, and I was telling him, Raila Odinga losing the presidency might be the best thing for him and his legacy, in that people have put Raila on a pedestal for what he has contributed to this country, his struggles and all that. So imagine.
I get it.
Yes,
I see where you're going with this. Okay.
He comes into power and he has a shitty 5-year reign. All that is washed. All the 50 years or whatever, he's worked hard to build his legacy, to fight for people, multi-party and all that. Him losing, that's what might be that.
On the flip side, if he would have gotten into power and then even exceeded,
there's that also.
There's also that chance, but like now we know for sure, like all we will remember is the promise of Raila Odinga, and that's more attractive than the reality. It will always be more attractive than the reality.
If this guy goes to the dogs, guys will always look and say, you know, this guy.
We had a chance.
He fought for, and he kept telling us 97, I don't know when, and we never listened. I wish we did. So that way we will always romanticize his memory and his legacy.
Because you're the only one who'll get this reference. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
You know, that's the second time you said that.
They're not gonna get
why
it.
don't you think we won't get it?
Do you get it?
Where is it from?
Because I think you're boxing us out.
Okay, fine. You either die a hero or
you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
So that's Batman.
I know he knows that answer, but we're not gonna talk about that.
But don't box us out.
But not because he watched it. Not because he watched it. Not because you guys have watched it. You guys.
No, GK recommended that film for me, and I watched it. I just didn't want to steal your shine.
Okay, so what's happening?
You didn't watch that one.
What are you guys ranting about?
to be honest, I actually have nothing. Like nothing comes to mind right now. Imagine.
You're a good electorate. Maintain that for 100 days at least.
No, I mean, if I was to complain about something, it would be, you know, that billionaire who gave away his company and he's like giving the profits to help save the environment or whatever. And it recently came out that everything that he was doing, actually, like, he still gets a big tax break. He's not really giving it away. He still retains control over the company. And then the clothes the company was making anyway were not environmentally friendly, despite him saying that they were. So the entire thing is just a big old mess. And I just feel like you should pay your taxes.
What company is it?
I think it's called Patagonia.
I know her and she hates billionaires for no good reason.
Okay, look, there's a perfectly good reason to distrust and dislike billionaires. Explain to me how you, like Jeff Bezos, is worth more than Kenya, a country of 52 million people.
He works hard.
Work hard. One person works as hard as 52 million people.
But you know, he's American.
Oh my God.
No. Let me tell you why. This is my logic. He's American. That country is capitalist through and through. Their products and their goods, they are global. Like his company is global, right? So even me, a poor Kenyan, I'm still using his services and I'm helping him become a rich guy, a billionaire. For a Kenyan, you're selling motura. I mean, you can only sell to your locality. It's not as expansive as you're selling ugali. You're selling to us, a localized group. That's why these global brands, they are rich because they appeal to not just their own population, but everyone else. He has over 320 million customers in his own country. In Kenya, how many people do you have? 50 million.
Let me ask you, does he cook his own mutura? No.
Jeff Bezos.
No. What does he do?
You don't know, man.
Does he make that product? No. So you cannot compare him to a guy in Kenya on the street making his own street food.
No.
That is not. That is literally comparing apples with shoes. You are not comparing anything.
Okay.
You're comparing someone who has taken other people's hard work and found a way to put it on a global platform and sell it.
But
that's what they do. Yeah, you cannot. But my point is, you cannot compare money or economy or success because he's not sitting there going and finding yama on the street or whatever and trying to sell it. There are very different situations systems.
True.
And someone who has the ability to go onto a computer and create that kind of a system cannot be compared to someone who's on the street selling food. No.
We would say someone who's in the street. Forgive me for saying this. You'd say somebody who was in the street selling shoes.
Like, I'm not
didn't work
shoes.
hard as.
No, you're mistaking me. What I'm saying is
Nice.
this guy's work is also hard. But what I'm saying is that you cannot, like, to say that he worked hard, yes, but he worked hard because he had benefits. So you can't compare. He also worked hard, but someone
The
who's
stars
making
aligned on this side.
on
like
this
the
side,
starting
the
line is
stars
very
aligned on this side
different,
on a very different privileged level. So this thing of capitalism is because it benefits very certain groups of people.
So-
Majority
I love how this
of them
isn't
being
coming from me.
very white people.
I love how it's not
so
coming
you are
from
not
me.
pro-capitalism?
We're gonna still fight.
I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm not. If you put me next to Aileen,
Okay.
no.
Look, I am deeply
Well, I'm
suspicious
not
of
on Aileen's
capitalism.
level.
I say this knowing full well that I have benefited a lot from capitalism, which makes me a hypocrite. As I said, you know what kind of podcast this is, right? I definitely enjoy the like my Apple Watch, my laptop, my shoes, my whatever. I enjoy
The
it.
mic you're holding, yeah.
I yes, the mic I'm holding, the water I'm drinking. I recognize that all these are the proceeds and benefits from capitalism.
Yeah.
However, I also should be able to, in the same breath, express a desire for that capitalism to be ethical. For me, in my consumption, to not always have to screw someone over, right? The reason why I'm able to buy cheap clothes is because somebody somewhere isn't getting the full value of their labor. The reason I'm able to get cheap food and cheap coffee in particular is because somebody somewhere is getting fucked.
So how often do you go out of your way to not enjoy the cheap things, to go and buy the most expensive, the one so that to make sure that
How do you promote your socialism?
yes, how on a day-to-day basis? Hypocrite number one.
How dare you? On a day-to-day basis, I stimulate the local economy. So every day when I go home, I use a bike, right? And I have a side agreement with my border rider because number one, I feel like Uber is going to be overcharging him, and the commission fee is too high. And then I also pay him more than what Uber would have charged me because it's like, well, fuel has gone up. I really value your time and I really value your labor, so let me give you what I think is fair, which ends up being higher than the market rate. That's how I try to perpetuate my values. However, when it comes to like consuming things, let's just say, no, I just like cheap things, okay? Like I like being able to buy food cheaply. I just wish somebody wasn't getting fucked. Like I should be able to express that sentiment.
Even
Yeah.
the billionaires like cheap things to produce.
Okay,
True. But like, I don't know. Like, I recognize that for somebody else somewhere in this country, I am like a billionaire. Like, I just have resources that are unimaginable to them, and they're like, well, it's not fair. Why should I be living like this while she's living like that? And I get it. I don't know how to fix it, and I also understand where they're coming from, but I get it. Like, it's a complex thing.
I feel that's nice of you, for you to appreciate.
Yeah, it's nice, but it doesn't really do anything, right?
But do the little you can.
Yeah.
Man. If we all could be doing that, I think
It might
we
make
will have
a-
moved
yeah.
somewhere.
But for me, I have a problem with you giving your bike guy a lot of money. And I'll tell you why. Because now you create this expectation in his head where everyone's supposed to do like that, yeah?
I don't think it's a lot of money. She's just
Or like 50 bob, maybe,
she's
or
just
20 bob.
bypassing the Uber.
No, but she's saying she'll do that and then give something on
the
top.
extra, yeah.
So this guy will keep 100%. Oh, one day he'll be arrested once they watch this. So he
That's
gets
just
100,
like a tip.
but he's getting 100% from the ride because the 25% commission is not going to these other people. And then you're telling him, but then the ride was 300 bob, and you've kept the entire 300 bob. He's another 100 bob on top. So now you have 400, which is not bad. But in Kenya, we don't have a tipping culture.
Yes, we don't.
Now, what you do is, if you do that once, twice, or thrice, it goes into his head. It's like, hey, by the way, you're supposed to be
You feel
tipping me.
entitled to.
He becomes entitled.
You come to me and expect.
Hey, but
Let me ask
something
you,
extra.
what's wrong with having that? What's wrong with having a
Expecting.
tipping culture?
No. Tipping culture I disagree with, but like, what's wrong with like?
Yeah, tipping culture is not good.
No. What's wrong with like? How do I explain this? What's wrong with feeling esteem and pride in your labor, knowing that it's valued by somebody and expecting other people to value it in that same way. What's wrong with that?
There's this thing that's there's this saying, yeah, you're supposed to get an honest day's wages, yeah.
Yeah.
So him working and him being told you've earned 300 shillings,
yeah,
that is what he has worked for.
Yes.
If you give him extra, it should be occasionally. Once in a while, yeah. Him expecting it from everyone else, now that becomes problematic because if you've not worked for that's handout. That's stimulus package, whatever. You're not supposed to do that.
But it's not a stimulus package. For example, like
it's
in this
subsidies or whatever.
No. Actually, let me use some capitalist principles for Mr. Capitalism to my left over here, right?
Yes.
I had to make sure. Okay, so in this like free market of exchanging labor, right? He has placed himself in this free market outside of Uber. And on this free market, I am allowed to pay him what I think his labor is worth, right? If I think his labor is worth above the market rate, I'm allowed to do that because it's a free market. To have somebody come in and tell me you can't pay that, what would that be? I think that might be socialism.
But you're told this guy should pay him 300, but okay.
But it's about how I perceive
you can pay whatever you want.
So I have like two stories that are gonna show why I'm a hypocrite. So, we'll go. I studied in Canada, and there's a big tipping culture there. It's either 7% of your bill or 10% of your bill, which is it's big. And there, everyone gets tipped. Your cab guy, especially your pizza delivery guy. They definitely expect tips. From every movie you've watched, your pizza guy expects a tip.
We haven't watched Canadian.
Not Canadian.
They're boring.
But you know there's a tipping culture. So
Canadians are good at wrestling.
the West. Let me say the West because it includes America. It includes your American movies. So once I ordered a pizza, and I remember this so clearly. My pizza was $22.
Okay.
22. Canadian.
Yeah.
Yes, Canadian.
And it's almost the same.
No, you have to specify.
Because
We're talking about real dollars. You get people confused.
You have Jamos watching American dollars. So.
Canadian dollars.
Okay.
But the currency doesn't matter. Just think of the number. It's the figure. It's the figure.
Okay.
So I only had two $20 bills. So I gave a 40 because I was like, I'll get my change back, and because of the 22, I'll get change to give a tip. So I give the 40, right? Waiting for him to give me like a 10 and some broken change.
Yeah.
Gives me the pizza, give him the money. Thank you. And then he proceeds to go back into his delivery car.
You gave him a $18 tip on a $22 order.
I'm like, yo, where you going? And he's like, huh? And he turns back, what do you mean? I'm like, where you going? He's like, oh, did I forget your delivery? And I'm like, no, you forgot my change. He's like, oh, I thought that was a tip. I'm like, bro, why would I tip you? The price of my pizza.
It's too high.
So that is the problem with the tipping culture. Yeah. But I also agree with Aileen, where somewhere like here, you do want, or anywhere really, you tip because you know that companies are not paying their employees what they're worth, and so you take the time to give them that value because you appreciate what they're doing, especially when you have a nice driver and you understand their story. I get that. I always make an effort to try. That I understand.
Especially when you have the resources
to try. But don't
take
100% of my bill as a tip. Don't do that.
Okay, so even me, I feel there's nothing wrong with elevating somebody who you think, you know that he's or she's below you, just trying to give back and say, thank you for your service. There's nothing wrong, but the problem is it develops a culture where I feel entitled to
getting more
for your 18 Canadian dollars. He was entitled to because that's what he's used to.
That's my problem also. Yeah, tipping. The history of tipping is very dark, so to speak. Because in America, I think some restaurants they don't even pay some of their.
They don't pay.
Yeah, so you make you earn your living from tips. So that's why in those developed countries, tipping is such a big thing going on there. But in our country here, guys are paid by the restaurants, the whatevers. They are paid. So if you tip, it's because you kind of want to, or you have an excess. But
they are not paid.
No, I'll disagree with that. I do not think if you work in the hospitality business in this country, your waiters and waitresses are not earning enough. Your bars aren't earning enough to pay them.
What do you mean enough?
Okay, for example,
it's not enough. They actually do rely on your tips, and I know enough because I was in the industry. I know enough of them that get so excited when they get a 100 bob tip. No. Tip your waiters and your waitresses. If you can, do it.
But I think don't just tip for the sake. Tip for good service.
Tip for good service. I mean, don't tip someone that's
been a dick to you.
Don't do that if they're not treating you right. But if you actually do have exceptional service, you have someone that actually cares, and you see they're making an effort, reward that.
If you can,
if you cannot financially do that, do you know what you could do?
Maybe you need a tip for
Tell them. I really know what you could do. You could tell them you did accept. Tell them you enjoyed their services. Motivate them to continue every day, because they might feel, I did such a great service today, and I didn't get a tip. But if you tell them, I really appreciate it today. I wish I could have, but you don't even have to say that, but just tell them, by the way, I enjoyed your services, because that will motivate them the next day. And maybe the next day they get some billionaire that will drop some money on them.
Let me ask you this. I know none of us here work in the service industry, but do you think that people who work in the service industry give tips when they get services from other people? Or do they just I don't have enough money?
Maybe they do, because
maybe
I'm assuming because they've experienced how hard is it in that service. Let's say you are in construction, you know what it takes to do construction. You'll appreciate more when you see some other guy.
There's an inverse to that type of thinking. I'm in construction, and maybe I'm an exceptionally hard worker, right? So I know what to expect. Like if someone does a kidogo substandard job, I'm like, man, I'm in that industry. You could have done better, so F you. Like maybe say I'm in the service industry and we work in a place where we promise 30-minute pizza. And that's what I do, and I deliver within 30 minutes. And then I order from your company. You come 1 hour later. I'm like, this guy, what's wrong with with all your challenges? I'm like, no, you could have done better because I do better. So the fact that you're not doing better, F you. So
it's okay.
It's okay. You don't have to tip them. Like you need to tip for good service.
Guys, just tip also. If you receive tips, tip other people. So for me, what I do is when I use permit, when I use
matatu.
No.
Borders.
Uber.
When I'm feeling charitable.
Soft life. You're feeling soft life.
See, you're using the service.
No. I'm saying, my money is for the matatu. My money will always go to matatu. Conductors. But what I do is I make sure I have I have conversations with them. I talk to them. I just connect with them on a human level, so that to them it's not like just another guy carrying a customer. I become more so like a friend, so to speak. Tell them about myself, get to find out about them. So it's more human interaction. Then at the end of the journey, if I'm charged 600 bob, guess how much I'm giving? 600 bob. We had a good conversation, and that's it.
That was the reward. You were rich.
Okay, all right. Okay, so you do know what kind of podcast this is. This is a drink/substance friendly podcast. As you know, the official line is that you only take that which is legal. When other things become legal, we will take them together. But for now, they are illegal, so we do not do them. Yes, team.
Yes, team.
Yes, team. Okay, good. So what are we drinking? I see a lot on the table.
NairoBEERns also.
Yes, this is NairoBEERns. We're doing NairoBEERns.
We drink something from time to time.
Drinking beer and gin. Which I believe are legal.
Very legal. Before we begin, can somebody explain this to me? Why does gin have such a chokehold on Kenyans? Because I don't understand it.
Marketing.
It just happened all of a sudden.
Kenyans, or is it the world? It seems like it's happening in the world. It's gin o'clock everywhere.
The wave was just
they market it to women mostly, right? Because they're like no calories, nini.
No, listen. The other day, I opened a box of gin that my mom had. It had a pretty little box, and do you know what color this gin was?
Pink.
Purple.
Ooh,
And it
The
looked
color of royalty.
good. Royalty. I'm just
Rest in peace, Queen. Yeah. So I think jeans because of the marketing.
Okay.
They marketed it to women.
Yes.
And now if I'm going to chill with a chile, she'll be like, if you want us to drink, get gin. So I'm like, okay. So eventually it also became part of the guys drinking whatever. So that's why gin is so
I
popular.
feel the wave is in Kenya right now for gin. Then maybe we'll move to something different. Maybe back to whiskey or rum or
and a beer bag.
Yeah.
Maybe even Bordeaux. Who knows? Who knows?
No Putin right now because of Putin. Right now. So all Bordeaux X for now.
No, like
Guys are just talking it. Once that's done, we may jump
We'll
to
come
Bordeaux.
back. We'll come back.
Probably, yeah.
And as you say, drinking out of an absolute cup.
drinking gin out of an absolute cup. Don't give a fuck. No need for that.
See, I love Putin, so.
Wow.
No, I love Putin, but I love
saying wow as
How
if
can you
he
love
said
Americans and
something
Putin
so-
at the same time? That's kind of
Kenyans.
No, because like
you're you.
I love America.
But you also love Putin.
I also love Putin. Yeah.
What's wrong with loving
blasphemy.
Putin?
I don't get it.
It's just it's conservatives loving liberals.
No. You know, right now, most conservatives have no
You
problem.
know, there was a
with
whole
Putin.
wall built against
No, they don't.
Americans.
Most of them don't have a problem. It's the liberals that have a problem with
Of course,
Putin.
it's the liberals.
Yeah.
People like me.
Or you are liberal?
Not necessarily a liberal. I'm not going to discuss my political philosophy right now. It is evolving. It is evolving. I think last episode I said that I was deeply suspicious of the state as an idea, but I'm a baby girl. I like the soft life and I like the privileges of a state. Like I'm honest enough with myself to admit that. Like in as much as I'm suspicious of the state, I am a soft person that values the state and the protection it gives
I am a
us.
baby boy.
Yeah, baby boy, soft life.
I want the soft life.
There's nothing wrong with wanting
Someone
the soft
give
life.
you a soft life,
There's
man. He's a
nothing
baby
wrong.
boy,
There's
you can
nothing
see.
wrong. Like no one lied to you.
Cue music of Beyonce featuring Sean Paul, baby boy.
Baby boy. Okay. Now that we are on the subject and topic of men, I would like to say that as a feminist, I am very sorry. And the reason I'm saying this is because I was doing some reading. I read the book by Bell Hooks called The Will to Change. And she was talking about how a lot of the conversation around women's rights and women equality has left out men. Because as women have become more independent and more economically empowered, men have ceased to provide that function for them. And because we're still training and raising men up to be people whose primary function in life is like to provide, to protect, to serve, in the absence of being able to perform that function, men are kind of left floating, and as a result you have people turning to men like Andrew Tate, who I also have problems with. So I wanted to say I'm sorry.
Why are you apologizing?
Because I never took y'all seriously. Whenever a man would complain to me, they're like, "Oh, women are so independent." Like I feel like here's a good example. You know in How I Met Your Mother when Ted was telling Robin that she's too independent and like he feels like she never needed him in the entire relationship, and that was a problem for him. I really did not like Ted after that because I was like, well, why do you want her to need you like that? You should be okay with that. And I was not respectful of where that sentiment might have been coming from. I should have maybe taken.
Right now.
No, it's
So you're apologizing.
Hang on. Is this not me trying? Is this not me putting this apology into action by like trying to have this conversation, right?
She's dipping her toes
I'm
into the
dipping my toes
apology
into this
pool,
conversation,
guys.
and I
But it
don't
hasn't changed, so don't apologize because you still hold those views.
Again, I'm trying. I'm here to hear your perspective. That's step number one.
And apologies are not at
Yeah, it's step number one.
steps.
So perspective about what?
Okay, I want to understand your perspective specifically about like I think number one, do you guys like an independent woman, and what does that mean for you? Because I understand men have different ideas of what like
Let me just
independence.
bring you back could you please define for us what you term as independent woman? Who's this independent woman?
God damn it, I feel like this is gonna come bite me in the ass. Okay, so you're gonna be like, yeah, I feel like it's gonna come bite me in the ass. Okay. There's no way I can define it. It's like
free.
No, because I wanted to say an independent woman is a woman who don't need no man, finger snap. But then I know where you're going to come from. You're going to be like, well, see, whenever, but like, why is it that whenever we have to carry chairs outside, you always come and ask me for help?
I want you to go there.
Right? Okay, so then I was like, okay, well, fine. Then an independent woman is a person who has her shit together. But I'm like, well, I don't have my shit together, and I think of myself as like pretty independent. So perhaps like an independent woman is a person who, I guess, can support herself. Can
I say, why don't we talk about emotional and mental independence?
Yeah.
Why is that not a thing? People just think independence
like
means financial or very physical kinds of support. I would want someone who is emotionally independent to the point where I'm not babying them. I think we don't talk enough about emotional independence because that I think is an important thing. I don't want to be sitting dealing like I'm dealing with a teenager. We don't talk about that. So independence can mean
emotional,
whatever you want it to mean.
Physical, financial.
Personally, me, I feel like I'm attracted to independent women. Or I'd love an independent woman. if as per what you just defined as independence being, I'll love an independent woman and I'll just be okay. I think I'll thrive.
You'll thrive. Okay. Chris?
There's nothing wrong with an independent woman, going by that definition that you guys just gave. If you're independent, I'm okay with that. You had said if you have your shit together, whatever. I mean, if you're over the age of 18, that's what you're supposed to do. Man, woman, or otherwise, you're supposed to pay your own bills. I think women sometimes they confuse this thing. If a woman is living by herself and she's paying electricity and rent, she's an independent woman. I'm like, no, you're an adult. You're a grown up.
You're expected to
do that. Nobody's clapping for you if you're doing that. They won't clap for you. So that, for me, that's not it. It's okay. You're working and you're earning and you're able to go and live in an asset that you like, you buy things that you like. That's okay. Guys have been doing that for a long time. My issue comes in when I guess we'll go to this later, but personally, let me go back to my preference. If it was up to me, I'd prefer a woman who is not financially independent, personally, because as much as we want to lie, all of us are dependent on someone financially. If it's not your husband, it's your boss, right? And because if you're independent financially, it means your boss now controls you. Your time, everything that you do is your boss that controls you. Don't you think it's better if that is controlled by your husband as opposed to your boss? Because you'll be doing things for someone you love. This is the point I'm trying to put across. You're doing things for someone you love. He's telling you, could you please kindly prepare food and make sure the kids are ready and all, and you love the kids, and you love your husband, and you love the home. So even when you're doing those things, you're doing things for things you love and people you love, as opposed to your boss who could be a dick, right? And he's telling you, but then you have to work extra today.
What if you love your boss? You love your job.
I mean, if you love it,
you enjoy everything.
If you love your boss and you love your job,
you love whatever you do.
No, nobody loves their job.
People love their jobs.
No, that's a lie. That's something we say. That's something we say to cover our ass. Yeah. It's okay. We sound mature. I love my job. Nobody loves it. Right now, go to someone who says they love their job, and you tell them, for example, work for less. Right? You can still survive, but work for less, or work for nothing. Because personally, I love my family. I'll be with them for nothing. You don't have to pay me. But for this podcast, I also like Kish, but I mean, there has to be something I'm getting out of it, right?
You should use the L word.
You what?
You love Kish.
I like
No. You love him. You love him. It's okay. Say you love him.
Say it.
It's love. Say it. Say
That one. But the point I'm making is this: if you're independent of your husband, you're dependent on your boss. You're always tethered to someone. So this is how I see it. And again, I'll sound like a chauvinist and a misogynist, But just bear with me for a second.
I'm trying. I'm really trying.
Yes. A wife should be dependent on the husband financially. Then the husband is dependent on the boss if the husband doesn't have his own business.
But why is that
owner.
okay? Why is it okay for the husband to be dependent and
boss,
tethered on the boss,
but not the
who will
wife?
still do the same shitty things that he would do whether or not?
Do you think if the reverse was to apply, the society will still be the same? Be honest. If right now you and I are married, right? And I lose my job and I agree, and Anna, I'll just stay at home and look after the kids. You be the breadwinner. How long will you respect me? How long will you treat me like a man if I'm always just staying in the house?
So long as if you're in the house, you're doing what you're supposed to do. Not at I'm expecting you to be a kept husband. What if like being in the house means you're doing what I can't do? Are you supporting me in ways that I wouldn't have been able to do? Are you doing things for yourself that now that you're not tied to your boss that you are doing that will enrich your life, that will in turn enrich mine? Because happy wife, happy life, happy husband, happy whatever will rhyme with that.
No, we don't
We
have
don't even
that.
have that. But what are you doing? Because this false belief that staying at home means you can't support and provide for your family is wrong. Because let's say there's kids, I'm not saying stay at home clean, because people think staying at home and taking care of the kids, it's pushed down to your cleaning up after the kids. Why don't you think of staying at home and taking care of the kids as enriching the future? You are priming your future. You are the one now raising your children the way they're supposed to be raised. You are doing the most important job. You are raising your future. So are you there for your children? Are you doing things when your kid is being bullied and your small little skinny boy is being bullied on the playground? Are you there teaching him how to throw arms or whatever you subscribe
I think
to?
what Mwas was trying to say is, in the instances, these small or however more they are, that this happens where you find the husband
is staying
at home, the wife is going to work. More often, the wife doesn't respect the husband.
Yeah, no, that's wrong.
And she
I'm not
falls in love with the
saying.
boss and the
No, I'm not
office
saying
now.
that doesn't happen. That happens. But you see, we can have a conversation over saying this is what it is. But that doesn't mean just because things are the way they are that's how they should always be.
Wait. We're also pretending like that same thing also doesn't happen with the man. That like once the woman stays at home and the man starts to take it for granted that there's somebody there to handle all the shit that he now doesn't have to take care of, right? That when he comes home, it's an actual, for want of a better word, it's a home. He just doesn't have to worry about shit. Then he starts to take it for granted, which means he starts to lose respect for his wife, which means he might start to step out of the marriage.
It's rare with the guys as opposed to.
There are foolish men who do that, yeah? Because I read
I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
I'm just saying a majority happens with women.
I don't think so. Like, just like you're saying they're foolish men, I'm also going to argue that those women doing that are also foolish women.
No, but see, the
They are
difference
the
is,
majority.
It's the majority. Let me
Numbers don't like.
Give us the numbers. Give us your sources.
See the numbers.
We want to know the sources.
Give us the numbers.
They don't like it.
What numbers?
And don't quote us
It's the truth.
TMZ.
So what do we do now? This is the truth, yeah? 98% of men.
No, it's
No. This is KNBS. I can't remember the year, but 2022. Oh, yeah.
It's the latest.
So,
the latest economic survey.
like, before we even go to the numbers, whatever you're saying, I believe it applies both ways. And I take that and I use all that what you said and direct it to women and ask them, why do you take offense when I tell you stay at home? Because it's women who will start saying, no, I need to go work, there's more to life than this. But we've just said, you're investing in the future. You're looking at
It's
this.
a choice.
So it's a choice for me. Again, I'm speaking as Chris.
Use your
Once
experience
you
and-
choose to get married, you choose to let go of certain things in life. As a single woman, I will never ask you to go work, travel the world, do whatever you want. That's my view.
Yeah.
But once you get married, you need to understand. You don't be selfish. You need to understand. Right now, I've gotten married to this man. We want to start a family.
Okay.
Ideally, I'm supposed to be the one taking care of the kids, because women naturally are the ones who nurture, right? This one, nobody's going to complain. Naturally, it's the women who nurture.
We have feminists here. They might.
I mean, for the feminists, okay, but a single woman can do whatever she wants. I will never question a single woman. You can spend 360 days of the year traveling, but once you're married, you need to let go of certain things, and you need to be the support. Recently, the deputy president became the president.
Yes.
And the first lady played her role. You know, she was there just sitting, working with him, taking the pen. You know, she wasn't trying to steal the shine. She knew her role. And in that instant, for me, I was like, hey, if this is what the president has at home, he has a good life. But
as a country,
we are heading the right direction. It's the right direction, partner. And she was there, very meek. She was.
She knew her place.
She knew her place. She's not the president. She was not elected by anyone. Nobody voted for her.
Okay.
Nobody voted for her.
You're bringing me back in.
For us, we care about William Samoei Ruto.
Sure.
For her, we care about her because she's a person, she's the wife. But as a country, not a single person can say that vote for her. So her role is to be the support for the president. And that's the role she played. If you watch the inauguration...
But okay, listen, her role as first lady to the president, not her role as wife to husband when they go back to closed doors. Her role to country as first lady, that's acceptable. She's first lady to the president. That is the role that they publicly show. That is a very different thing. Do you think, Ati... Okay, let's not speak about our president. But do you think, Ati, when you're sitting behind closed doors,
Reggie
that's my pen. My pen. Come on.
No, do you think we wouldn't prosper if, let's say, President Ruto didn't have a wife? Would you think anything would have been different?
I think so.
So I'm very against.
I'll say
this. I'm very against
position.
this tradition of Ati presidents need to be wedded. Come on, I'm very against it. We followed a very American route. Why? I don't understand. Of Ati, your president has to be married. Ati, because family values.
The church were men.
I don't understand. They're like family values. Okay, this is my problem. I know that the argument of having a president that's married is if you can run your family, you can run the country. If you can't run your family, you can't run your country. Do you know how many families and how many groups of people that marginalizes? Where are your single parents? Where is everyone that is raising a child that has a family that is not married? Majority of people get left out of that. Most of your population does not have a neutral family anymore. So why is that the bar that we're holding country up to? Because a married family that got married and have a white picket fence does not represent majority of the population anymore. You cannot relate to your people anymore. It's ridiculous.
Because of the numbers, I think I'll learn to correct you. Majority of
But it's still
statisticians in the house.
It's still but as country you're still neglecting a large number of your country. And as president, it shouldn't matter. So what your values are personally should not matter as a country. Your personal values shouldn't be held to the country.
Okay, wait. So we've had like Chris explain what in his mind, like what role a woman is, what role a woman should play in his life. Not just marriage, it seems like in his life.
That's marriage.
Marriage, yeah. If you're dating, marriage, whatever. But I'm saying, if you're a single girl,
if you're single, you can do whatever
fine.
you want.
In marriage, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what role does a man play then?
Same role he's been playing for centuries.
But is that fair to you guys? Like, I personally think it's not fair that your role in society is tied to what you do for other people. That puts a lot of pressure on you guys.
But there's nothing wrong if you've accepted to.
Have you accepted it?
Yeah, we have. We always want to protect and provide. That's what, even when we are not doing it, that's what we want to do.
And you want that pressure.
My guy,
we've been living with that pressure.
I'll talk to my men out there. Don't get suckered in by that feminist line of thinking. Don't. It's feminists who will tell you you don't have to provide. I can help you. Then you don't provide and you become a cuck. I'm not even lying.
They lose the respect.
They're like, look at this puny here. He does nothing. I'm the one who's giving him food. I'm giving him credit.
He can't even be a man. Like John.
And you see, that's when Miss Chile. Yeah, exactly. That's when Miss Chile is working with John. Okay, and John's guy buying drinks. It's like I have a cuck at home.
I will admit that there are a number of songs that are dedicated to women about men who are like scrubs, i.e. Scrubs by TLC, Bills by Destiny's Child. A lot of them from the 90s now that I think about it. But I think where those songs are coming from and is not that, like, again, I don't want no scrub, like it's more that, like, I don't want a guy who lacks ambition, because I understand that sometimes shit just hits you hard. Sometimes life gives you bad hand after bad hand after bad hand, right? And what kind of person, what kind of partner would I be if I left you at that time? I'd be a horrible human being, right? Because I'd be telling the world that this is how I want you to treat me, right? Because I firmly believe treat others how you want to be treated, right? So in that time, like, for me, what matters more is not your current economic state or your current, or how you are right now. It's where you want to go and what you're doing to get there. I want to know that you have a plan. I want to know that you have ambition. Right?
So the pressure is nice because, guys, I know I have to provide for my wife and my kids. If I end up having 7 kids,
Jesus,
I'm just saying, I have to make sure that these kids are well educated.
You are writing checks your wife's vagina may not be able to cash. 7.
See, I can have more than one wife.
Oh my God.
This country can have more than one wife.
Yes,
so that pressure is nice because it pushes you, it spurs you on to want to do more, capitalist, to want to do more, to venture out, do your side hustles, so that you can be able to provide a good life, not just for yourself, but for your kids. But the day as a man you resign that role, like, I'm not going to be the one to provide, I'm okay with my wife providing, that's the day you lose she loses respect for you, and you lose respect for yourself, because as men
you become useless.
You become useless if you can't provide. There's something in us, all men, we have this innate need or feeling to provide.
But are you speaking
protect.
For all men?
Okay, again, most majority.
Numbers. The numbers don't.
There's a lot of men that are very okay with taking a step back, with having wives that earn a lot more. And listen, what is wrong? Because you say, if let's say the primary goal is to provide for the family, and that's your job, right? You have to do it. Let's say you can't. Life has handed you a shitty deck, and no matter what you do, you just can't do it. But you have this woman who life has given her all the aces, and she's going to be able to do it. Are you really going to stop yourself from being happy with this person? Stop your family from thriving because you don't want to be with a woman that has a bigger check than you? When she can, what you can do is find ways to, because families will always support each other, is use your joint family to continue to grow. So if life has now suddenly handed you a shitty deck, you find a way to use your aces to get yourself out of a shitty deck, because that's what family is. It's not a competition where one person has more and the other doesn't, and that's how it's always gonna be. A proper marriage, a proper relationship takes whatever one person has, they put it together so that both people or everyone in it grows. That is what a family is. It's not a competition.
That's an idealistic way of looking at things.
No, that is not family. A healthy relationship.
I'd say I agree with you 100%. There are some instances where I get the Chile has more children than, or has a stable job than the guy. There's nothing wrong with, like, taking a step back, and personally feel there's nothing wrong. But what we are trying to say is, in those instances, the majority, most women find themselves not respecting this guy. There are some who have
Minority, yeah.
men have
And
accepted
those are
the
shitty
role of
women.
coming-
That's the
True.
majority, though.
But
Yes,
that's the
and then
majority.
you're shitty then.
So that's what
respect
we are
your
saying.
man.
Yeah? There's nothing wrong. Like you can
You should
hang
respect
yourself.
your
Same thing
man.
about men.
So I have a different view to what you're saying. I was lucky or unlucky, depending on how you look at it, to grow up around my grandfather. He was always in my life. He's still in my life, and he's given me a lot of advice with regards to that. And what he told me was, if ever you get married, make sure you have nothing joint with the wife, not like in an account, but things. So don't combine resources to buy a TV. Don't combine resources to buy a sofa. Don't combine resources to buy anything. Make sure that everything in that house is quote unquote yours as a man.
Why? Wait. But why? Doesn't that leave the woman in a very vulnerable position?
The woman can buy the curtains. She can buy.
What is a curtain compared to a couch or a TV?
Listen, this is wisdom. So you don't listen to your elder.
101.
This guy, he lived through a colony. So he lived through a
seen it all,
colony.
eh?
He's seen it all. So he told me this, and I live by that. He told me, if you want to buy a TV and you can only afford, let's say for example, a 50-inch TV, and your wife is telling you, let me add something and buy 100. Don't accept, because now that becomes something that you guys will fight over sometime down the line. Buy that 50-inch TV. If she wants to buy her own 50 and put it in the bedroom, fine. But make sure all things in that house primarily are yours, and let her do the other things. But make sure that boss. My grandfather told me that, and that's one thing I'll take to my. If I have kids, I'll tell them the same thing. If you can only afford a couch worth 80,000, buy that one, rather than combining with your wife and buying a couch worth 160. And then when you guys have small quarrel, she's telling you, get out of my couch. By the way, I even bought that one for you. It's mine. You're watching football and I want to watch soap opera, and I bought that.
Well, then that's not an argument you can't just deal with on the spot.
Yeah,
I mean,
like-
that's an argument out of anger.
Yeah,
it's such
it's
a
a bad
stupid thing.
argument.
Yeah, learn how to communicate.
I was gonna say
Healthy
the same thing.
relationships
You just
know how to
Or
communicate.
if you want a relationship, make sure you are emotionally whatever is in that emotional whatever.
No, but
What
equally
I'm
the
saying
man can
is,
say the
you
same
can
thing.
have-
He
no,
can
no,
say
what
the
I'm
same
saying
thing.
is-
If I have a
Have
TV,
a
I tell you, listen, I bought this TV.
Okay, can I lead this into a question?
And how is that any different? Sorry,
Can I
continue.
lead this
Yeah.
into